Brad Vickers, the pilot for STAR's Alpha team, the man who would abandon his team in a panic during the mansion incident, but would redeem himself by aiding Jill and Chris against the tyrant. He would be known as Chicken Heart to his comrades, never a confrontational person, even hanging back when the surviving STARS members would confront Chief Irons with their reports on the Spencer Mansion incident. He would be one of only 3 STARS members present during the Raccoon City outbreak, being himself, Jill, and Barry for a brief moment. But a question we never got answered is why was he in the basement storage room on the streets of Raccoon City? Following the Arklay Mountains and Spencer Mansion incident, STARS would be disbanded by Chief Irons, after attempts to investigate Umbrella and the Mansion incident were intentionally usurped by Irons, with support from Umbrella. Brad would stay quiet over fear of losing his job with the disbanding of the STARS teams. Alpha Team survivors Barry, Chris, and Bravo Team survivor Rebecca would all leave Raccoon City before the outbreak. Chris would go on to Umbrella HQ in Europe to investigate the rumours of the G virus. Barry would move his family to Canada for their safety and return to the city in a helicopter, moments before the cleansing of Raccoon City, to save Jill and Carlos. Rebecca would leave behind her career as a STARS member and continue her university studies, and achieve a doctorate and become a BSAA advisor years later, and would be instrumental in the events of the A virus outbreaks years later. Leaving only Jill and Brad in Raccoon City, both covertly continuing their investigations into Umbrella's illegal bioweapons research. The Raccoon City incident would be started by Dr. William Birkin and the Umbrella Security Services, after releasing T-virus via rats into the sewers and the local water supply. After a few days, reports of more cannibal murders would take place, and the city would begin to face a biohazard outbreak. The National Guard would be called in to blockade the city to prevent the outbreak spreading out beyond Raccoon City. Zombies and many other monstrosities were slowly eating their way through the population, with the RPD and UBCS being the only protection the survivors had. But eventually the sheer number of BOWs would overwhelm the RPD and UBCS to just pockets of officers and men. The city would end up becoming a flame-covered necropolis littered with bodies of UBCS, RPD and civilian alike, with the zombies eating their way through whoever was left. Eventually Jill would begin wandering the streets in an attempt to escape the city, but in one of the back alleys Brad would burst forth like a bat out of hell from a door leading to a basement, where we find zombies and a corpse covered in maggots with a shotgun. But why would Brad be down there in the first place? Before Brad found his way to the basement and Jill's last escape, the RPD itself was under siege with officers Marvin Branner, Elliot Edward, and David Ford, along with other unnamed officers defending the building and survivors from the ravenous undead trying to force their way in. It's not known where Brad was during the outbreak, but it's likely he was hiding out at the RPD with the others at one point, for safety in numbers and loyalty to his cohorts. Each of the remaining officers would die or escape. Marvin would stay behind and meet Leon or Claire before turning into a zombie. Elliot would be killed in a zombie attack and a helicopter crash, or just a zombie attack depending on which version of the events you believe, leaving only David Ford's fate to be left unknown. During the siege, David would continue to kill zombies left, right and centre, as each of his fellow officers and survivors would die around him, tipping him into a deep depression and slowly being driven mad. He would continue to document the events of the siege in his reports littered around the RPD. His last report, found in the photo development room by Jill, would detail his final moments, with him planning on taking his own life using his Mossberg shotgun. He would leave the RPD and go to the basement near the warehouse, finally turning his Mossberg shotgun on himself and firing, sparing him the fate of turning and attacking his friends. But where does Brad fit into this story? Assuming Brad was still at the RPD, he likely discovered this document and in hopes of saving David tried to search the city for him to prevent his suicide. It's likely that he would encounter Nemesis while searching for David and would only narrowly escape. Running through the streets, he would find his way to a door which he would seal behind him, making his way down some stairs to the basement storage, where he would find David's shotgun shell-ridden corpse in the corner of the room, covered in maggots, still holding his weapon, and a group of zombies devouring his body. Brad in a panic would flee and burst out of the basement, which Jill would witness firsthand. Brad would make his way back to the alley behind Jack's bar, while Jill would retrieve David's shotgun, not realising that the man she took the weapon from could have been saved if only Brad had got there quicker. Thank you for watching. Please leave your thoughts about this theory in the comments section below. Remember to give us a like and a share on social media, and please do subscribe to keep up to date with new videos. Cheers, Rezzers, and I'll see you all later.